cynicism is gone.
Hello everyone, I'm Joshua.
And I'm Josh too.
And today we're going to be reviewing the Town That Dreaded Sundown remake from 2014.
The town of Texarkana has awoken to a gruesome act of violence.
He could have killed me, and he didn't.
He's gonna make the town pay for its sins.
I'm going to do it again and again until you make them remember.
The Town That Dreaded Sundown stars Addison Timwin, I think. Not her name will be right here. Travis Hupp, Spencer Treat Clark, Veronica Cartwright, Gary Cole, and it's directed by
Alfonso Gomez Rejon.
The plot of The Town That Dreaded Sundown is that 65 years after a mass serial killer terrified the small town of Texarkana, the so-called Moonlight Murders begin again. Is it copycat or something even more sinister? A lonely high school girl with dark secrets of her own may be the key to catching. So before we get into this, I would like to say this is was a first viewing of both me and Josh, and we never seen the original Town That Dreaded Sundown, which I think came out in 1976. So
was it?
yeah, 1976. So we never saw the original.
And wasn't there even one before that was 1947?
No. Well, I don't think so. Was there?
Yeah, I think so. I think there was a really, really old one that was called The Phantom Killer.
Yeah, and it's not one that's talked about much.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we never saw this movie before. This was the first viewing. We never saw the original before, which we'll probably have to get to at some point due to your original. So yeah, and the thing that interests us about this remake in terms of like why we decided to watch it was mostly because it was a Blumhouse movie. Plus also the trailer looked pretty cool. And here's the thing, Blumhouse for us has been kind of hit or miss. You know, like, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Like, there's been some, and even the hits were we just viewed as just okay, right?
Yeah.
Like, because again, like, and I did my review of Halloween 2018, and I think, you know, it's one of those films that, while still a competently made film for the most part, it is one of those films, the more you watch it, the more the flaws and the issues start to creep up. And I noticed a lot of these flaws when, like, we both noticed them when we watched Town Theater. So, we weren't like some people where they were just, you know, 100% geeking out over the film when it came out. I know,
we did go and see it in theaters though.
yeah, we did, at least. And, but I know another person who kind of, which his thoughts changed afterwards, in terms of people who kind of geeked out when the film came out, is Drum Dums over on his channel, which shout out to you, man. Like I really do like your content and that, and I'm also part of the Killer Flicks family, so hello everyone who's watching from Killer Flicks. Yeah, so for me, we didn't geek out over Halloween 2018 when we watched it in the theater.
Yeah.
Because we did have some issues. So again, Blumhouse movies are hit or miss, and even the hits are just meh.
Except for the world's greatest movie.
Oh, well, two of the world's greatest movies, which, well, they're, okay, even then I wouldn't go that far, but...
To me, they are. I really...
Which, I'll mention one of them because we did our review for it, but the other one we won't because we haven't reviewed it yet. But the one of them we're talking about is the Invisible Man remake from Blumhouse. That was just awesome.
Right. We haven't done the review for the other one?
Yeah, we haven't.
What? It's terrible. We gotta do that.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So yeah, so again, Blumhouse has been kind of hit or miss, and even the hits to us have been kind of just okay. Nothing really outstanding. Aside from a few exceptions, like we mentioned, like the Invisible Man, that was like one of the few more outstanding stuff from Blumhouse. So yeah, and again, this was a first watch, and we do have some thoughts on this movie, so let's just get right into them.
I really like the way that they did the sequel aspect of it.
Which here's the thing, it's not a remake,
Right.
it's a sequel.
Right.
But at the same time too, it's
a remake too. It's a soft remake.
Yeah, and knowing that too, it's a film, one of those films that you could go into without having watched the original.
Right. Because they go through it so thoroughly that you know what
what was in the case without even going to spoilers with
Right.
the original.
And stuff like the trombone kill, like I don't remember if they showed a flashback or not, but you could tell whenever that was happening that it was.
Because I remember people talking about that trombone kill and that was in the original.
Right. Well, you could tell the way they did it in this movie.
Not that too. They kind of would hint at that happening again in this movie because again, and this is another thing I like too. It's a meta film. Where, and it's not like,
one of the badly done meta films.
Like, to be honest, in my personal opinion, I think Scream was one of those badly done.
Yes, well,
I mean, not badly done, but just,
it was just
the only issue I had with Scream was, again, they claimed to be above the cliches.
And that's all it was cliches.
Yeah, which I guess was meant to be comedy, but...
Too much comedic relief.
Yeah.
Too much.
So, but this is like this and another one which we'll get to talking about later down the line. I felt like is the right way to go about with doing meta films, Because here's the thing, like what they do in this movie is that the original, the events of the original film was actually made into a movie.
Yeah.
And it's the movie that was made of the events in the first film is actually just the first original movie playing. So, So, and they go into the stuff like, some of the behind the scenes, stuff with the film. In terms of track down the descendant of the
yes. So,
to try to figure out who is, what's going on with these new killings and stuff like that.
Right.
So, whether not it's a copycat or if it's the original Phantom Killer.
Right. Which, and that was another positive I had, was who it did end up turning out to be. Like, that twist was pretty huge.
We'll talk about the twist after we do our rating.
Right. Well, and that's why I was trying to be kind of bland about it, so we're not giving too much.
Yeah, but also too, another positive is I like the cinematography of this film actually.
Yeah.
I've heard some people, and I never thought of it like this, but some people said they got some really I know again, Drum Dumps mentioned this in his review, the remake. He got some really David Fincher vibes from the cinematography. So, which I guess I could see it a tad bit,
Yeah.
Actually, because I've seen films like Seven and stuff like that.
Right.
It kind of has a bit of that same feeling.
Right.
So,
yeah, he didn't happen to do A Long Comes the Spider, did he?
I don't think so.
Okay, because that does feel a lot like this to me.
Feel like
the way it's shot.
I never seen that movie, but
yeah, it's good. It has Morgan Freeman.
my name is Morgan Freeman. Hold on. My name is Morgan Freeman. But yeah, so I did like the cinematography of the film. It not only gave off a bit of a David Fincher vibe, but also got out of a retro vibe too.
Yeah.
So
I like the acting quite a lot.
yeah, the acting was for the most part pretty good, especially for a slasher.
Yeah, there was a few of the classic slasher actors that were kind of, but I thought they did better than average.
Yeah. Yeah, better than average, you know, because this could have easily been one of those, you know, just typical slasher movie kind of acting, you know. I also did dug the pacing of this film too.
It was quick.
Yeah, it was quick.
But you didn't lose very much.
Didn't lose very much, except for a few things which I'll get into in my negatives, really.
Yeah. I feel like I remember us mentioning something about the music, but I cannot remember what was there. Maybe there wasn't a whole lot of music.
There wasn't a whole lot of music, but I thought that was kind of interesting, you know.
The way they
Because
it was more documentary feel-ish.
Yeah, it did felt like a documentary. It was like a meta documentary film, almost. The way it was depicted. I mean, the opening kind of started off in a very Texas Chainsaw Massacre type of way, talking about the original film's events and even like the impact that the film had and everything.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
So yeah, it felt very Texas Chainsaw Massacre to me in that regard, in terms of the kind of documentary film aspect.
Yeah.
So. Also, I gotta say, I really like the look of the Phantom Killer for the most part. I do have a few issues with the look and a few issues with the voice of it, you know? But overall, I've always kind of liked the look of the Sack Killer.
Yeah.
You know? There's something kind of creepy about the Sack Killer, almost. And the thing is, too, it's very simplistic, too. Which I guess sometimes you don't need to be big or bombastic. You know, it just has to be something simple, you know, to be creepy.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I think that's it from like my positives. Yeah, because I enjoy most of it. But
and I think that's it for my positives. We unfortunately do have a few negatives with this film.
I do.
So let's just move right into them.
My first one actually coincides with you talking about how you like the look of the killer. I also like the look of the killer, but I had an issue after you pointed it out that bugged the snot out of me the rest of the movie, and that was that you could see his eyes.
Yeah, I was about to get to that because I mentioned I did have a little bit of problem with that bugged me, and you could see his eyes clearly.
Yeah. Like very clear, like not just you could kind of see them, you know. In the
I think it would have been creepier if they hit his eyes a bit more.
Right.
You know, like, and that just kind of lost the fear factor. The reason why Michael Myers works so well, for instance, is because you can't there's no trace of a human being there. You know, in terms of like the face and I mean, you could help it because the mask kind of looks like a human face and and everything, but a lot of the human features and that is removed.
Right. Well, and eyes are a huge deal because that's like the window to your soul. So if you can see your eyes, you can see.
So it's like if you were to compare staring into Michael Myers' eyes in the film,
compared to this one.
For example, in Halloween H2O, which I'll talk about when I get to my review, you could clearly see his eyes a lot in Michael Myers, and it didn't work. You know, like it was not creepy whatsoever.
It was just some dude wearing a mask at that point.
Yeah. So definitely, even simple stuff like the eyes could really
make a huge difference.
So, and we didn't got any bit of creep factor from this guy.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I mean, I think it's pretty creepy that he never got caught.
Yeah, that's creepy, but, you know, and knowing that too, another issue I had is the voice. You know, it wasn't really, knowing that too, the weird thing is too, the trailer actually
showed a distorted voice.
Distorted voice actually did sound creepy, actually, you know?
Kind of Jigsaw-esque.
And I think they should have gone with that from the trailer, because especially if it's to the point where people in this town think, you know, maybe it's not even a person, it could be a demon or something like that, some sort of vengeful spirit.
Right.
And that, you know, it's like, that would actually, and in fact, it would make the mystery element, sorry about that, the camera shot up for a bit. I still don't know how this is happening. Not sure if it's the camera or what.
Setting that we're not understanding.
Yeah. That almost rhymed. Setting that we're not understanding.
Yeah. But I wagered that that's hilarious.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, where were we on? We were talking about the trombone.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so there are some creative kills in this. Well, at least that's probably the most creative kill. So, which is the only let's move that to positives for that one creative kill. So I'll do that for post. But for the most part, the kills are honestly pretty generic. You know, pretty just standard. I mean, do you remember any other kill?
I remember her getting shot in the leg at the end, but she died.
Yeah, but actually where...
Oh, yes, I do remember one. The one sheriff deputy got shot in the eyeball when he was with that lady. You remember?
No. I really don't remember that. So, yeah, for the most part, the kills are pretty forgettable, and the only one that is rememberable is one that was taken from the original film. So even then, it's like no originality with that.
Yeah.
Any other negatives?
I think that's
about it. So I guess we'll just move on to our rating, and then after our rating, we'll get to our spoiler review. We'll get to our spoiler talk. So talk about the twist ending in a minute. So with that said, I'm going to give The Town That Dreaded Sundown a 4 out of 5 stars.
I'd give it a 4.5. I thought it was.
Yeah. I don't know. There were some of those issues that I think kind of dropped it down for me.
Right.
If those issues were fixed, this would have been a 5 out of 5 star movie, or even at the very least a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah. It was pretty close to pushing it though.
Yeah, I think so. But there were still those problems that did bug me in terms of the filmmaker and visual artist.
Right.
But overall, this was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I still personally think the trailer was better than the movie.
Yeah.
So, but still really good in terms of a slasher film and in terms of like a modern slasher film too. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
In terms of a Blumhouse made movie, pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah.
So
we've gotten lucky this year with this.
yeah. Except for maybe a few.
Yeah. Treasure
Not Treasure Island, Fantasy Island.
Oh yeah.
Which we still have yet to review that.
So bad I can't remember the name of it.
But yeah, but there are a lot of good elements in this movie, and to the point, I may actually end up picking this up on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I think it would definitely be worth picking up.
Yeah. So and.
I'd really like to see the original.
Yeah, this made me want to watch the original.
And how many sequels do you get that does that?
Yeah, or remakes or whatever this is.
It's like this sequel / soft reboot.
Yeah. So, and I'm kind of wondering how much, if I would like the original any better.
Yeah, I'm guessing we'd be pretty close. It looked like to me.
So that's it for our rating and final thoughts. We're going to be getting into our spoiler section now. So in terms of talking about the twist and our thoughts on it.
Yeah.
If you guys do not want to watch this, if you don't want to be spoiled by this movie, click off right now. But before you do, when you do, be sure to click share this video, and if you're not already subscribed, because apparently a certain percentage of you guys are not subscribed to my channel, be sure to subscribe. It would really help it out. If you like my content, please subscribe. Be sure to do all that before you click off of here. But if you do, hope you have a great day. But for the ladies and gentlemen that decide to stay for the rest of this video, whether it's you've seen the movie before or you just don't give a fuck about spoilers, then I hope you end up liking the segment here.
I thought the twist
okay,
was
there were some things. There were some things about the twist that I'm like, it was good, and some things I didn't suspect. But the fact that there were 2 killers going on, I thought there was only one.
What about the boyfriend not dying? That was a huge deal.
Yeah. So.
I thought that the whole grandson of the killer thing was more predictable.
Yeah, well, I just felt in general, in terms of who they revealed to be the killers, was a bit predictable in general.
Yeah, because I told you it was a cop, 15 minutes cop, 15 minutes before.
And then even like the fact that one of them is a grandson too.
Yeah.
You know, working with the cop.
Yeah.
You know, the Phantom Killer.
Yeah.
The original Phantom Killer. It's like that. Both of those were very predictable. I was thinking it would have been one of those two things. You know, like, but they just went ahead and did both. You know, which again was surprising that there were two killers. Yeah. Two copycat killers.
Yeah.
But in terms of the reveal of who they were and that underneath the mask, very predictable, and honestly, I kind of don't even remember these characters much in terms of...
Well, right, because the one wasn't even in the movie for more than 10 seconds when he was getting killed.
like, went into public dressed as the Phantom Killer. It's like... So, it's like... So yeah, knowing that too, I kind of was hoping that the ending would have been bigger in terms of scale.
Yeah.
Too. So, like to me, I kind of got like when it was getting closer, I kind of got that was the vibe we were getting a bigger scale ending.
Right.
So, but not really. You know?
Quite happy.
So, also too, another thing as well, like what else did you have issue or like about?
Her getting shot in the leg with the
oh, that was cool. And it's like I just felt like I felt that actually. Like it's one of the few like
scenes in the movie where you actually
felt the pain and so
what were we watching the other day when somebody fell and their leg splintered and we were both like, oh
wait, I think that was this film.
Was it?
Yeah. It was during the it was with the wife of the military person that came. She jumped out the window
and that was just like the most grotesque crap ever, man.
Yeah. I guess it's just something to do with feet and legs.
I totally felt it. Like it.
Yeah. There's something about feet and legs that, in terms of like pain and that you just feel in movies. It's kind of like with eyeballs too.
Yeah.
Eyeballs.
Kind of have a hard time holding your eyes open watching it.
So, but yeah, anything else?
No.
Outside of the fact that the film does seem to hint at a potential sequel, which the sequel's not happened yet, and I'm not sure if there's even a desire for them to make a sequel.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe just I don't know. Like in terms of desire.
Yeah, I mean, unless somebody like was super passionate.
Because apparently it got decent, like in terms of like, let's say if we could judge it by Rotten Tomatoes, in terms of critics,
66.
Like in terms of the critics, it got like a 66%.
Yeah, that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
but
so it was a pretty decent movie.
Yeah, it was overall pretty good modern day slasher.
Yeah, I mean better than most.
And not that too, it was even for being a sequel, you know.
Right.
And a meta sequel, and also a Blumhouse movie.
A Blumhouse meta sequel, so we really, it's
Blumhouse
it's
meta sequel slasher, like modern day slasher. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.